So people are worried about inflation, recession. I mean, people can read the news. I'm not going to fill anyone in. My first question is, how much is a country like Israel, and I think this goes for many other countries in the world, how much is our economy dependent on the American economy, the Federal Reserve, et cetera? Because I used to think it was a lot, but I think I recall the last recession, I'm not talking about coronavirus, we escaped that economy, I know, with the recession. I think the global recession. And so I used to think that if America struggles, there's less money, there'll be less foreign direct investment, startups and tech companies, which is the driving growth behind Israel's economy, will slow down, growth will stop. But it didn't seem like last time, but now we're seeing a lot of layoffs and things seem to be different. Before we get into like right now, in general, how much of an effect does American policy have on the Israeli economy? Or for that matter, let's say even China or other large economies?
I think the impact is critical. Israel, especially Israel, is a small open economy, and our by far the most thriving part of the economy is the technology, of course. I mean, the entire for I don't know who's exactly watching this talk, but just for anyone who doesn't know,
No one that agrees with us, Gilad, I promise.
the only part of the Israeli economy that actually functions really, really well is the tech
Tech,
sector. I
because
mean,
it's not
this is the
regulated,
foundation.
because it's
This is, yeah,
underregulated.
not, it's unregulated, it's open to competition, all of the good things, all of the good stuff. This is really the foundation of the economy in Israel. Anyway, my point is that if the US actually goes into a very deep recession, which means that investments in the tech industry are going to plummet, then for sure it's going to have a very detrimental, significantly detrimental impact on the economy of Israel. But now, I mean, the story does become a lot more complicated. If you look, for example, at the 2008 crisis, or the recession in the US, the recession was very short-lived. It was very deep, but it was very short-lived. And it was very short-lived because the Fed, the American Central Bank, started to print money like there was no tomorrow. They started to print money on levels that were unprecedented, which is
At
why
that
the
point,
recession.
unprecedented
Yeah,
2008.
exactly, exactly. I said unprecedented, and then I thought, well, compared to today, what they did then was very
Was a joke.
conservative. Yeah, so that's why the recession was very short-lived. Now it could be different because if the recession hits strongly, the problem now is that you also have inflation. So it's going to be a lot tougher for the Fed to get out of this recession the way they got out of the recent recessions, also the one in the years 2000, 2001, because if you print more money when you're already in a monetary inflation, then the problem only becomes worse, and that's a problematic situation. So I'm not sure what's going to happen right now. I will just say that in principle, Israel is a small open economy, heavily dependent on investments from the US in the tech sector. And if the US goes into a very deep recession, then we are in a recession as well.
Okay, got it. Cool. And where do you think we are? So, is there anything Israel can do to mitigate or navigate the fact that to the recession, since it's coming from America, or are we basically hopeless?
No, no, no. I mean, look, if Israel was now a purely capitalistic country, if we were as capitalistic as Switzerland
Singapore,
or Hong Kong of 2 years ago,
formerly,
yeah, formerly,
formerly, yeah.
what used to be a free country over there, or a semi-free country, then I'd say that the way Israel can respond to the upcoming recession is maybe somewhat limited because there's just so much you can do. As it stands right now, Israel is one of the least capitalistic country in the developed world. We are approximate number 40 or 35, depending on how we look. But anyway, we're one of the least capitalistic countries in the developed world,
OECD.
which means in the OECD, which means that the way for us right now to get out of the recession or to try to at least make sure that the impact isn't going to be as negative as it could be is to free the economy, deregulate, open the country to free trade, to free imports, finally control wages in the public sector, finally go into the voucher system in the education system as to stop the ever increasing expenditure in the education sector, which doesn't do anything to the level of education, just basically turn Israel into a free economy. And then not only the impact of the recession is going to be, that much lighter, when you get out of the recession, Israel can grow so much faster than anyone else. And so in theory, if we do become a capitalistic country with a human capital that we do have in Israel, with the appetite for risk and the entrepreneurial spirit we have in Israel, we can very quickly, within 10 or 20 years, become the richest country on the face of this planet. It's very simple. Not only that it is simple, it is, it's going to succeed for sure. And you know that it's going to succeed for sure because you have many other countries in the world that have had many other, system and economic, regimes over the last, I don't know, 100 years. And what you can see is that always when you have a country that becomes more capitalistic, it becomes richer, and also the vice versa, right? So I think this is the solution right now. You want to avoid the worst outcome of the recession, free the economy.
Got it. Okay. So but it's all right. Well, so that's not going to happen in the short term. So therefore, we're stuck with the decisions of the American federal government and the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, look, just to kind of reiterate the point without being too boring, the good thing about all of our economic troubles is that they're all very easily solvable. It's
I know that's why it's so damn frustrating.
well, I mean, if you
Sound like we can't solve it with Putin. It doesn't. Why not? It's solvable. So easy to be rich.
Because Israel has two big issues, right? The first one is the economy, and the second one is, geopolitics. Geopolitics, I have no idea how to solve it, although I can tell you that probably no one else has any idea how to solve it. Our economic problems, solvable, technical, easy to understand, easy to identify, easy to solve. The problem is political.